Hello everyone, you're watching All Over the W, your weekly deep dive into the WSL stat stories and standout performances. Let's break it all down. My name is Sky, and as always, I'm joined by Ash. Ash and I are here to discuss four fixtures from the previous WSL weekend. We'll be looking at Liverpool versus Villa, Leicester versus United, West Ham Brighton, as well as London City Lionesses versus Everton. Before we get started, just a reminder for all of you out there, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the like button as well as leave some comments on what you thought about some of the very interesting games that happened in the weekend, because Liverpool as well as West Ham are bringing the heat. I think the relegation battle is gonna look really spicy. I mean, it is looking quite spicy already. But Ash, let's start with Liverpool versus Villa. A thumping, convincing, like a statement sort of a win from Liverpool, winning 4-1. Mia Enderby scored in the ninth minute. It was a lovely goal. Martha Thomas in the 14th minute. Grace Fisk was a beautiful volley in the 84th minute. And Sillag scored in 90 plus 7th minute. And for Villa, it was a lone goal from Miri Taylor. Ash, what did you make of this game? Were you impressed with Liverpool?
I was impressed with Liverpool, but I feel like I want to start with Villa because I have a lot to say about Liverpool, and I have a lot to actually I have a lot to say about Villa also. Never mind. I want to start with Villa because I feel genuinely sorry for them. Like I'm it's a very confusing team, Villa, because on the one hand, yes, they have injuries, and yes, they're playing with like two really young players in their starting lineup, in Georgia Mullet and Maltby. I think Maltby is how you pronounce.
Maltby, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And like Jean Francois has also just come in, so like Jean Francois will also take some time to adjust, etc. But and they lost in halftime. They lost Sabrina De Angelo to a concussion. That was really like scary for a
Oh,
sec.
okay.
So you know for that reason, I do feel a little bad for Villa, but at the same time, and I also feel bad for them because for a large part of the game, it was 2-1, which was like still game on until like the third Liverpool goal, which was in I think 84th minute or something. Yeah, 84th minute from
Yeah.
Fisk. Like, and that too, it was like a long range goal off a volley.
Hmm.
Until then, Villa were like in the game still. Of course, Liverpool were the better team at all points almost, but like there was still some, like there was enough there for you to be like, oh, Villa can still maybe pull off an upset or whatever. So, and I felt bad for Kirsty Hansen because it felt like she was just running by herself. Like Miri Taylor and Kirsty
Yeah.
Hansen were literally like carrying the team, and nobody else seemed to like know what they were supposed to do. Um,
This worries me a little bit because, Kersey Hansen is a slightly injury prone player.
yeah.
So, like, honestly, the fact that she has played a lot of minutes for Villa and the fact that she's carrying the team, especially like going forward, you don't have Kendall, you don't have Rachel Daly. So,
Yeah.
yeah, this is definitely like, I really hope nothing happens to
Yeah.
Hansen because
You
she's
know,
so vital.
another thing that I've noticed because of the you're play overusing Kirsty Hansen and Mary Taylor and all these players a lot is that Villa have these last moment collapses like 80 minutes onwards. Like the United game
Yeah.
also, they just like collapsed in the 80th minute. In this game also, they just like suddenly conceded two goals in the final like
Yeah.
10-20 minutes.
Actually, yeah, I remember even that game against Everton, which ended in a draw. I mean, it was like a contest between like Everton and Villa as to who will collapse more,
Yeah.
almost. Anyway,
Yeah, and I think that also speaks to the fact that, even though like it's not like Villa don't have bench strength, in the sense that like their substitutes in this game were like Chastity Grant, Jenna Knight Swanger, Maritz, who's like decent, Staniforth. Like these are not like bad players who have no experience. Like they're not like Maltby. Like they're not 18 years old,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not like a bad substitution to have, but you can see that they're not match fit. And I think that
Yeah.
lack of bench and lack of match fitness shows in their substitutions, and which is why they, like, in comparison, Liverpool's substitutions, Bergstrom, Silag, Bonner, were all really effective when they came on. I mean, Bonner came on to waste time, but like
Yeah.
the other two were like really like effective when they came on. You know, Silag even scored and looked
Yeah.
like scoring a sec before that as well. So, like in that sense, Villa, I think the problem is that they can be competitive for about 65 minutes and then they lose their shit.
Hmm.
So I'm worried
Yeah.
about that.
I also think, and I could be wrong here, but this is just off the top of my head, but I also feel like Chastity Grant being there helped Villa unlock Kirsty Hansen better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like Grant and Hansen used to combine really well together. So maybe having her back slowly, maybe it's going to be after the international break. We'll
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
wait and see.
I also
But
I need more from like some of these experienced players, like Ebony Salmon. Ebony Salmon, like there was this one point at which Salmon was like really tight with Burnaby, Burnaby. Uh,
yeah, Burnaby, yeah.
Burnaby, like really tight with Burnaby. Now, Salmon is a fast player, right? Like, Salmon is by no means slow. And Burnaby manages, like, and Burnaby is getting the ball from the goalkeeper. Salmon is really tight to her. And Burnaby manages to, like, with a little boost of pace, get some distance, turn. She's facing, like, her goal. She, in the corner, and she
Hmm.
turns all the way around, finds the space and the time to turn and pass out without much problem. And I'm like looking at
Hmm.
Ebony Salmon and going, what the hell are you doing? You are so close,
Yeah.
you're so tight. Why is this player finding it comfortable to turn and pass? You know, that's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. I mean, also some level of skill there from Burnaby, but like, you're not like a. If it was Bethmead, I'd be like, okay, Bethmead is slower, it's fine. But like,
Yeah.
Ebony Salmon is really fast. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think that's something. I think you're making a very important point because sometimes you want your players up top to sort of defend aggressively from the front.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah.
And you know, like you look at their midfield. I know that Jean Francois is like new, but like Hijikata, Jean Francois, Mary Taylor, these are not like bad players. You know, you
Yeah.
can't just be like, oh, we have only children playing, and that's why we're not able to do it. Like you look at this team: Parker, Patton, Deslandes, Salmon, Jean Francois, Taylor, Hijikata, Hansen. These are like good WSL pedigreed players. Mullet and
Yeah.
Maltby can be excused, but the rest of you, what the hell were you doing? You know? And
Yeah.
to be fair, Maltby and Mullet were better than some of you know? So, like, at least Mullet almost got in front of goal once. Of course, like, Clark totally shut her down immediately. Oh my god, I love the
Hmm.
Liverpool centre backs. But,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm really disappointed with them. Like there was this one point I do think I have to credit Arroyo for one thing, which is that she set up the like too deep, and she realized Liverpool were dominant for like 35, 36 minutes, almost 40 minutes, and she
Yeah.
had a tactical timeout. She moved the line a little bit further down so that you can release Hansen and Mullet, and
Hmm.
she made a tactical change that made them more competitive. So I will
Yeah.
hand Natalia Arroyo that within in-game changes she did worked for like the 65 70th minute mark. Of course, then
Yeah.
the substitutions came and it was a whole different story. But until
Hmm.
then, they were 2-1. They just needed to score a goal to get back. And to her credit, Kirsty Hansen tried really, really, really hard by herself.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I
But
just
as question for
Liverpool.
you,
Yeah,
question for you. Yeah. Before you jump into Liverpool, so that's like three losses in a row in the
4.
league for Villa. I mean, four. Four. The fourth one is the FA Cup,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but in the league, it's three losses against United, Everton, and Liverpool.
Yeah,
Everton and Liverpool, ideally, games you should compete in and try and
yeah,
get
yeah,
at
yeah.
least like 4 points.
Yeah.
That should have been like the goal. Do you think Arroyo's job is at stake? Like, do you
I
think
think it'll
she's?
come down to the Spurs game because
Mhm.
this the way Villa set up is actually it'll work in their favor against Spurs. It's possibly the only game they might have like on the counter some success. So um, it all depends on how that game goes because I think if they lose by a lot to Spurs, I think that is like danger zone. But I think they'll give her until then at least.
Okay, okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. Okay, tell us about Liverpool. I'm curious.
Yeah, Liverpool. Oh my God, I Gareth Taylor. I do not know what magics the transfers have done.
Wow.
Because he
Uh-huh.
has managed to also like transform Mia Enderby, Martha Thomas, these players. You know, like I call them uh, the no goal support club. Uh,
Yeah.
mutual,
Support group, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
support
yeah,
group. Mutual appreciation society. Anyway, Enderby is on a purple patch. Martha Thomas has scored her second goal for Liverpool. I have to admit, I did not see this turnaround for Liverpool considering the way they started the season. But they
Hmm.
look like a whole different team. Like I was a little surprised when Enderby started in top over Bergstrom, but I can see why because like the form in the Spurs game, etc. The fact that you got the goals gives the player some confidence and
Hmm.
Bergstrom came on and looked sharp also, so it wasn't like too much of a uh, either player works sort of
Yeah,
situation. And but the player I think who is most important to this team is Kerry Holland. Every single goal almost. Like even the second goal, which she's not credited with the assist in, literally came in from a Holland pass and then it pinged off the goalkeeper, then on to Martha Thomas again. Like Martha Thomas shot
yeah,
and then shot again. So
yeah, yeah,
Kerry Holland was like the heart and soul of this Liverpool team, especially that Bernabeu Holland flank was absolutely sensational, like sensational. There's
yeah,
no other way to put it. Because Bernabeu was not only keeping up with like Salmon and Mullet when they were like running in, which is not easy to do. I did not realize how fast Bernabeu is. Uh,
yeah,
and but also on the counter, like Holland, Bernabeu, absolutely stellar on the ball. Great passes between the two of them, um, uh, along with like Nagano and Fisk. But Holland, I think, is like the linchpin of this team. Like they better keep
yeah,
her fit because without her, like none of the goals get made. Even like the Silag goal, etc. I think it was Holland only who sort of put it in the path. Uh,
yeah,
so so like Kerry Holland, great success, so amazing. Now let me come to the centre backs, Fisk and Clark. Like the number of times like Clark just cut off the runs of like both Mullet and Hansen. It's so impressive and like they're so good at like defending like set pieces and stuff like that as well. I'm just like they're aerially great. They're also great in positioning. They managed to like of course there were times when Villa looked like they might get past them, and of course they did concede the one goal.
yeah,
But I think that came from the Bernabeu side only. So keeping all of that in mind also, I thought they were really tight. Like I think what sets this Liverpool team apart is how good they are in defense with that high line. I
mm-hmm.
think possibly, I will say this, possibly one of the best defenses in an attacking team. You know,
Yeah,
like legit. Like, and I'm comparing with like teams like Spurs or whatever. Like they have a better defense than Spurs right now, hands
yeah,
down.
yeah,
So, like, I'm just really, really impressed with Liverpool. Like, none of us thought Gareth Taylor could make this work, but he's up for manager of the month or whatever it's called. And, they have.
After winning one game, yeah, that's funny.
No, I mean, not
Anyway,
one game. It's been like. Yes, they lost
yeah.
to
So
United.
Liverpool's last 5 games, maybe not in the league, but
Yeah.
I think there's been like Three
So,
wins, one
so
draw,
yeah,
and a
yeah, yeah.
loss.
They
So,
drew to LCL. Then they won 6-0 against London Bees. Then they
London
won
Bees,
2-0
yeah.
against Spurs. Then they lost to
Hmm.
United, and then they won 4-1 against Villa. So like
Yeah,
the
but
United loss
still
is totally
technically one league
acceptable.
win. I
Wo-
wasn't wrong.
LCL is what? League Cup. What
No,
was
no, the
LCL?
London Bees one is FA Cup.
That I know. But the LCL one is a
Yeah.
draw. No, that's the WSL only.
Yeah, so I mean, we're talking about Jan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, in this month. Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like you can see the improvement. So
yeah.
I don't
Absolutely.
begrudge it. Um,
Yeah.
and like it's a big turnaround. You know, Villa and Liverpool playing each other is interesting for because they are doing what Villa did last season, which is be abysmal for an entire half a year and then like go on like a generational run. I feel like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what's
yeah.
gonna
Turn
happen.
up in the new year is the way to go.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. And it really helps that they have Silag and Bergstrom and all these like great transfers because they are really changing the game for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, moving on, unless you want to add something, Kai. Moving on to Leicester versus United, which ended 0-2 to United. Zigiotti scored in the 13th minute, Derlin scored in the 88th minute. Um you mentioned that United got away with a few things, but comfortable in the end?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think United shouldn't have won this game. I feel like this was one of those, get like do a job sort of a game that United did well.
Yeah,
I just felt like, the second goal was a bit sus. Um, I mean, honestly, I saw a lot of people complaining that it was a foul, but I personally thought it was shoulder to shoulder. Like
yeah,
it was okay. It was an okay challenge from Zigiotti. But when United were just 1-0 up, because obviously Turlin scores only in the 88th minute.
yeah,
When United were 1-0 up, Leicester 100% should have had a penalty.
yeah,
Like Shannon O'Brien is sort of just like at the edge of the box, but inside the box. Um, and like Sandberg comes charging in from behind and shoves her, and it's 100% a penalty. I don't
yeah,
know in what world the ref, like, she's clearly behind Shannon O'Brien and
yeah,
she's
yeah,
clearly shoving her, not making a play for the ball.
yeah,
I mean, it was actually quite dreadful. It was a clumsy challenge from Sandberg as well. But like the thing that I found really interesting was like Schuler got a start over Turland in this game, and we have to keep in mind that they have that midweek game later against Atletico Madrid. So, uh, uh, like Schuler starts, Turland comes off the bench, and I thought both were like quite instrumental in the goals that were scored. But yeah, I thought Leicester also looked dangerous on the counter, as they always do. The only thing I will say is I want Mushon to start for Leicester because she looks so bright every time she's on the pitch. She's also really fast. So, you want a player with that kind of pace and like drive to uh, cause problems. You need to use players like that to sort of strike a bit of fear in the opposition defense.
yeah.
And uh, I don't know if her minutes are being managed. I don't know what the deal is, but I really want to see Musha start more often. But yeah, I mean, from a United perspective, I thought it was an important win, job done, three
Yeah.
points, and they can move on to the playoffs
Yeah, I
in the
have a
midweek with
little bit
some.
of a gripe with United, okay? Because I
Hmm.
remember talking about what was it, Liverpool? Yeah, Liverpool United game, and I was like, for that second Nelson goal, it should not have happened because Zigiotti totally fouled somebody. Uh,
Hmm.
I think it was Zigiotti who. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Zigiotti who totally fouled a player and then passed the ball, and that goal should not have stood. I don't remember if it was the
Yeah.
third goal or the second goal. So, like, United have been, like, they've deserved to win the games. All these games they've deserved to win. But they're getting
Hmm.
away with, like, a lot of, like, these half fouls, and I feel like at some point somebody has to just be like, okay, fine, like, this is too much. Like, the refs
Yeah.
need to, like, put some rails on that.
Yeah. Also, like, I mean, yes, this second goal was very sus. Like, I don't think it was a foul.
Yeah.
But you know what? I also have to criticize the Leicester players in this because listen, Leicester are defensively solid. Like if you look at the bottom of the half of the table, I think they've conceded only like 21 goals
Yeah.
compared to like 29 and stuff from
Yeah.
West Ham and all that. So like good defensively, right? Obviously, Zigiotti wins the ball back. Leicester
Yeah.
players genuinely feel like they've been foul, like the player has been fouled, and just stop defending.
Yeah.
Like the number of touches Sterling took before she took the shot, it was criminal. And you just like back off from her. You're not defending. Like you just have to play to the whistle,
Yeah.
like basics. Play to the whistle. And after the goal goes in, like the Leicester defenders are fuming, they're shouting at the ref, and it's over. Like you're not. It's not like you even have VAR to overturn your decision. So
Yeah.
you have to stay alert and play to the whistle. So yeah, all in all, I thought United deserve to win. But yeah, I mean, I am curious to see. Like sometimes I do feel like Zigiotti. Like obviously, she's a very very physical player who just like loves to break up play. And what I want to see is like a team that really gets physical with Zigiotti.
Yeah. Shower
Like
down.
yeah, match her physicality, like
Yeah.
foul her and things like that.
Yeah.
I think because you know sometimes the inconsistency that happens in the WSL
Yeah.
is that there are some rash challenges that people get away with,
Yeah.
but also like people get away with like repeated fouling.
Yeah.
Like there's absolutely no consistency with these things. So like,
Yeah.
I feel like like Zigiotti is somebody who's guilty of repeated fouling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think her challenges are necessarily rash,
Yeah.
but I just feel like she gets away with like say without getting booked,
Yeah.
having committed like 4 or 5 fouls.
Yeah, that's what it happened in the Liverpool game where I was like, Zigiotti at some point should have gotten a yellow, which never happened. Not because the fouls are very rash, but because there were so many of them, you know?
Yeah, and like every team can do that.
Yeah.
Everyone can put a physical midfielder in
Yeah,
there
yeah.
who's just going to keep like
Yeah.
like breaking up play in like slightly like
Yeah.
questionable ways.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I
yeah.
understand breaking up play, but repeated fouling is maybe mm, is a bit icky.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
that's
moving
that.
on, Kai. West Ham versus Brighton, which ended 3-2 to West Ham. Really fun game, clearly. We were watching the other one, but fun nonetheless. So it started with Brighton scoring Seke in the 41st minute, and then uh, Vanegas in the 63rd minute. Um, and then West Ham quickly equalized. Morgan scored in the 83rd minute, Martinez scored in the 87th minute, and then Asai scored in the 90th minute. Last minute collapse there from Brighton.
Yeah, it was. I don't even want to call it a last minute collapse because Brighton got away with a lot in the first half.
Yeah.
They were lucky to be a goal up at halftime, and you know, like West Ham created so much in the first half, and obviously the goal that Brighton scored, the Seike goal, was a wonder goal. The second one was lovely. The Vanegas goal, Vanegas' run was brilliant, and an absolutely thumping finish into the roof of the net. That was really nice. Good finish from Vanegas. But yeah, Brighton were a bit lucky, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm kind of glad West Ham won because they deserve to win. There's a new sort of energy that they came out with in this game, and obviously they have new players, and I thought like the player that I want to shout out is Katie Zellum.
Yeah.
You see Gori, who has dropped off to the bench now, which is really interesting to me because obviously Gori is a captain, and but then you have a new manager. I know that Skinner preferred Gori a lot. Like she liked having her in the team.
Yeah.
But I don't know what this means, Gori dropping off to the bench. But I thought Zellum, you could see the experience that Zellum brings. Like she
Yeah.
controlled the game really well. It's quite instrumental in I don't know which I can't seem to remember which goal it was. I think it was the
Yeah.
Asai one. But in the build up, I thought she was really good. She was controlling the game well, and Brighton didn't have too many opportunities, to
Yeah.
be honest. Like genuinely thought West Ham looked like completely renewed, and Yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully.
like this Rita Guarino, like I'm really like rating her because I remember the Spurs game, and we really struggled against West Ham because they were very good, like they were very organized. I think I mentioned this in the preview also, where I was like, oh, should I go for Brighton? West Ham played really well in the previous game, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
let me go for Brighton just to be safe. And at that point also, I was like, because West Ham were really troubling us with their counters. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
Guarino set them up really well, and they won against Leicester, they won against Brighton. They're beating the teams they should be beating. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
really like happy for them. I don't know if this is just West Ham having their usual like second half of the season slightly better performances until like every year they do this where they buy in the Jan window and then have like a uptick in performances until the summer break,
Yeah.
and then they start badly again the next season.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see because, I mean, again, we'll have to wait and see. Like for us, say somebody like a Matt Beard or a Rian Skinner, we knew what we were going to deal with in terms of like what they were going to bring to a team.
Yeah,
Guarino is a bit of a is a like, at least for me as a fan, like is a bit of a wild card. Like I don't know what to expect.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I'm really curious to see how this
Yeah,
plays out.
and
But
she seems very tactically astute, and she's like really set them up well to use the talents of Asai and Martinez. Like I genuinely feel
yeah.
like she's doing the best with the players she has, in a way, not in the way of Rian Skinner where it's like, oh, I have these fast players, let them go. It's not like a player
Mm.
based system. It's still a system based in like strategy, and not individual talents, but there's enough flexibility in that system to allow the players to it's set up, like the system is set up considering the players you have, but while
Yeah.
not being player centric, unlike Rian Skinner.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah, it's not like individual brilliance that you're looking for,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Ash, last but not the least, LCL versus Everton. Uh, Everton winning 1-0. Guevara scoring in the 62nd minute.
Yeah,
What did you make of this game?
it was an absolute shit show. It was such a bad game. Like, okay, LCL were not bad. They were not bad. To be fair to them, they were like, they had about 55% possession, but they did very little with that possession. Like, to be fair, their XG was slightly more than Everton's, and Courtney Brosnan like really pulled off some amazing saves, like as Brosnan does,
Water is wet.
like
Yeah.
flying up and bottom, like top corner saves and these type of things. And so I felt a little bad for LCL for the fact that they hadn't scored. They had like 4 shots on target, but 17 shots in total. But I thought it was a little bit naive from them because LCL had it's not like LCL played so amazing, so they had the ball and they kept coming back and back. It was just that Everton decided not to move this game. They were like, we're staying right here. You do what you want. Like, I think their like interim coach or whatever, Scott Phelan, who's their
Mm.
academy coach,
Yeah.
basically was like, okay, we're going through a transition. It's a difficult time. Everyone just like be compact and stay in the box. If you see an opportunity, go.
Go.
And I feel like that's what they did the whole game, and that like frustrated this.
Yeah.
How can you have 15 corners? LCL, the team that's supposed to have like Aslani and like cool corner takers, the fact that they have Goodwin who's like statuesque in the box, and they're still
Yeah.
not able to score from like a
Can
random
I tell you
header.
something?
Yeah.
Can I tell you a fun fact? So
What?
I was randomly checking WSL stats yesterday, and Mariona is the player who has created the most chances in the season at 33,
Yeah.
and Aslani matches that 33. So
Wow.
Aslani has created not big chances, but
Yeah,
chances
yeah, yeah.
created is 33 alongside Mariona, and that clearly shows that what LCL are lacking are some finishers.
Yeah.
And Goodwin has not been able to deal with the league. She's not there yet.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be like LCL absolutely have to go in for a couple of strikers
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
summer.
Like I feel bad for criticizing them for not scoring because Courtney Brosnan was clearly having a day. But
Hmm.
at the same time you have 15 corners. It's not like
Yeah.
5 or 6 you failed at 15. Like
Hmm.
at that point you just have to be like there is something wrong with me. Um, I
Yeah.
mean, credit to Everton for like pulling off that clean sheet or whatever. I mean, they didn't even try. Like, they were not even trying to go forward or anything. Like, they had 72% pass accuracy, okay?
Yeah.
Everton could not be bothered. They had like one big chance in the whole game and they
Hmm.
scored it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like, Gavaro scored that one big chance. It was a decent goal.
It was a
Um,
lovely finish, wasn't
yeah,
it?
lovely finish. Like it was on the volley type, so it was very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Um, but like, I just it's such a like disappointment from both these teams because it was one was just like like one like the fact that Everton, like, let me list to you the players that Everton currently have who are just chilling, sitting. Okay, you have
Hmm.
Hayashi, you have Van Gool, you have Wheeler, you have Momiki. Like you have
Wait,
Vignola.
on the bench?
No, no, in the
Oh, sitting as
11.
in like sitting deep.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah.
Ah, Vignola.
Like Vignola, sitting in deep, Vignola,
Ah.
Wheeler, Van Gool, Hayashi, Momiki. Like these are the ball players you have in your team, and like even in like the bench you have like Gali, Ishikawa, like Pacheco. They're all defenders, but they're like good on the ball.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the fact that you have this team and you're just sitting in your box is such a like all the way back to Ruby Mace. You have people who are good on the ball. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm just. It just makes me sad. I understand they're going through a transition and they're just like chilling in their box and like they're like, okay, let's just get the
Yeah.
points however we can. But like, it's a little bit sad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's like pretty frustrating to watch, and also like something we need to remember is that Everton really need to get as many points as possible
Yeah,
because like they're gonna lose quite a few players to the Asia Cup. So
yeah,
it's and as well as women's Afcon, I know like obviously Tony Payne will probably go. So a lot for Everton to mull over and figure out. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this episode. Just a reminder to all of you out there, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Tell us a little bit about what you think about this Liverpool and West Ham renaissance that we're seeing. We will be back with a WSL preview episode in the weekend, so keep an eye out for that. See you soon. Bye.